So my first apprenticeship was owning my own business, pressure washing business. It was named Blast Sharks Pressure Washing. It had a cool logo. My cousin created for me. It was a shark with sunglasses, and he had abs, and he was all ripped, and he was holding a pressure washer. I was super pumped to own my own business. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, I made it, right? Like, holy crap, I made the leap. And I started the business in just a part-time job, just doing the weekends after my main job, and I had high expectations. Thought I was gonna get a lot more customers. I thought people would be coming to me, and I thought it was gonna be easy. The complete opposite. Probably the most challenging experience I've ever had in my life. It was very humbling. I would door knock. It took me after a month finally to find a customer. I'd post, my business on Facebook Market and advertisement, and have Google, and post, have my own YouTube channel. I had all these different platforms, representing myself, and I was struggling to just get that first customer. And then once I got that first customer, I did a great job. They gave me a Google review. Like, everything was pinpoint. I was like, okay, like, if I was on to keep doing that process, I should be fine, right? And then, it just never really kicked up. Like, the most I made in a day was actually $1,000, but that was a roofing and a full house clean, and that was a really triumphant feeling for me. I was like, wow, like, that was pretty cool. And just to do that in a few hours. But there was a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of humbling experiences. I could give you one example. My first big mistake. I was at a house. It was a simple job. Just had to clean the gutters. I just had to rinse out the gutters. But for the first time, I was using this chemical to clean the gutters. And bad mistake. I started sprinkling the chemical in the gutter, and next you know, the paint of the gutter started ripping off the gutter, and that paint, the white paint, started going on the house. So now the house is white. The paint of the gutter is ripped off. It's only just metal now. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, I'm devastated. I'm just like, how am I going to tell this customer that I just ruined his gutters, his house? And he wasn't too bad, actually. He didn't have a big reaction. His wife was really upset with me, which I completely understand. You pay a service and you don't expect someone to just completely ruin your house. So I had to buy paint. I had to call my dad. Luckily, my dad came clutch for me, and he helped me out to repaint the whole 3/4 of the house, repaint the gutters. It was an all-day process, and all because that was one simple mistake. It cost me the whole day, lost money. That was a really eye-opening experience for me, especially for a business just starting up. Another experience I had with a customer would be, I remember one customer, I gave him a quote, and he told me yes. I'm like, okay, let's get this going. I told him I had to get my stuff. I'd be back in 10 minutes. I only live 10 minutes away. And he said, okay, that's fine. So I get my stuff. I come right back. I give him a call to let him know that I'm on my way. No answer. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe he's just busy. So I arrive to his residence, and I see him talking with another pressure washing business. There's a big truck there, and I was like, wow, he even told me yes. He didn't stay loyal to that. So I found out that customers don't care about you. They will leave you in a split second. Whatever they say, they don't mean it. And that first year is don't have high expectations in your job. Don't expect it to be easy. I continue on my second year. Definitely a huge improvement. I got bigger jobs. That's when I made $1,000 in a day. I had that one job, and I started doing roofs now, because I was trying to make more, trying to progress in my business. So I bought this little water tank, and I had this little machine to help the water to run. I had a little hose so it could spray out the chemicals onto the roof. one job, my buddy from Ohio, he was visiting me, and he wanted to help out because he was just such a good guy. So we go to the job, and this job is a pain in the butt. It's hot, it's in the summer. The hose was not tight enough, so the chemicals were just flying everywhere, in my face and the arm. And I have a long sleeve shirt, and the chemical I didn't realize was sitting on my shirt, sticking to my skin. So after an hour or two, I started feeling a burning sensation, and I was like, man, why is it hot? Why is it burning so badly? I was like, man, this hurts. But I kept pushing through. I was like, no, I gotta grind this out. I gotta, make sure I finish this job. Then eventually it got to the point that it was burning me so badly. I looked at it, and I saw half my arm just pink. I didn't see my skin at all. And I was like, what the? I thought I had to go to the ER for a second. I was like about to panic. And this is actually the same arm, and it nicely recovered. But man, that was a physically straining day. I remember that was another experience. It was like, all right, make sure you check your equipment before you go to the job, because I definitely did not do that. That part I was inconsistent about. So we move into the third year of my business. This is the last year. Still doing this, side job, and that year was kind of a dip. When I peaked, it was the second year. The second year, that's when I saw the most customers. That's when I made the most. But overall, I see it as I got paid for my schooling. I got paid for my apprenticeship, right? Like, imagine that. Like, you're the one getting paid to learn. You're the one to learn. The school's paying you. That's how I saw it, and I was like, what a gift, right? Like, I reflected those 2.5, 3 years of me owning that business. It was the correct decision for me. It created the foundation for me of owning my own business, of customers, myself, my weaknesses, my strengths. So I'm really glad I took that route. I had those experiences, and in the meantime, while learning and I was getting paid for my schooling, I now have all that wisdom, and now I can carry it with the next business I want to do.